It's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome to my channel. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Okay, it's Thursday afternoon and we're going to do our fourth installment. I've been switching it up on content here, but I obviously realize that you guys are lovers of the Duggars and the Sister Wives tea, so I do try to consistently bring you topics related to these two families. And we haven't talked about Jeremy and Jinger in a minute. Now, the Duggars have a humongous family, so there's always someone to talk about. And recently, Ginger and Jeremy, obviously, like the rest of us, have been stuck at home. But this is a unique situation for them because Jeremy, who's in seminary school, is likely stuck at home because churches in California are not meeting, and it's more than likely that his school is currently closed. So, having more free time on their hand, the two of them have been spending a lot of time on social media, like most of us. But here's the thing, Jeremy is a pastor, and so he has been spending a lot of his time doing sermons and reading to people and trying to uplift people. But then they've also been posting all kinds of cutesy photos on their Instagram. They're really trying to remodel their image on Instagram, at least in my opinion. They've removed a lot of things that maybe at one point were questionable, and now it's much more like we are the millennial family. It seems very trendy and cutesy. So he, like, Jeremy shares photos of him with Felicity in matching shoes and, staying at home all day isn't as bad when I get to hang out with my two favorite people. But so, and it's, there's a lot of these kinds of photos on there, okay? And then Ginger has hers like, marriage is amazing, especially when you're married to your best friend. And then they're like with they're like walking in the rain, and walking in the rain is the best when you're walking with your best friend. It's just, very over the top. And a lot of people have been criticizing them on social media, and I'm not one of them, by the way. But fans have been saying, like, hey, if you got to talk about your relationship this much, there might be something wrong with it. Like, you can't obviously be this happy. There's just, when you flaunt things, something's going on, right? Well, I have no idea. But that's one of the prevailing opinions. The other is that Miss Ginger is pregnant. I don't see it, although I know a lot of you want it. And given that the Duggar girls like to pop them out very quickly, and Felicity being over a year old now, almost two, is it highly probable that she might have another baby? Who knows? Here's the thing. They are not as active in terms of, like, they aren't in the IBLP anymore. Jeremy's family isn't overly huge. He seems to be seeking fame. I know he's in seminary, but I swear this guy just wants to be famous, my opinion. And he and she are really sort of like living up this, we are in California, we are super trendy vibe, okay? And I don't really know how another baby would fit into that. And for Ginger's part, she has never claimed to want to have a ton of kids. I mean, at one point, I think she said she would be fine with one or two. So it's funny because we at one point thought Jill was going to have all the babies, and she's only got two. Derek was a little bit cagey, saying maybe we'll try for a third. But these two haven't really talked about expanding. Everyone seems to think she's pregnant. Again, I don't see it. But this isn't why we're here today. Why we're here today is because Jeremy and Ginger did a Q&A, and they played a game of Would You Rather. And it should have been like this really fun game. And I typically am not watching them with a critical eye. I'm more just trying to see, like, how are they interacting? What's going on here? And I was struck almost very quickly about how, I don't know, almost argumentative he was and critical of her answers, which made me question how healthy of a relationship this is. And a lot of people are starting to question that too, because Ginger didn't grow up with the best boundaries, and was taught to really look to her husband for all of the answers based on her teachings that her parents taught her. And she wasn't really taught to think for herself. So constantly looking to Jeremy for, like, what should I think? What should I feel? This kind of thing. So they played a game called Would You Rather, and she uploaded one part of it. So I'm going to just show you it, and then I'm going to stop it and kind of like point out some of the things that I've noticed. And I'm not alone by any means here, because a lot of people in the comments were saying the exact same things as I was.
Would you rather You want to go first or want me to go first? Okay. Okay, this is a good one. Would you rather all electrical devices mysteriously stop working, possibly forever, or the governments of the world are only run by people going through puberty?
Really? Really?
Which would you rather?
No, I don't know. Okay,
all
I'd say stop.
done.
Oh, possibly forever, but
possibly forever. No telephones, no Netflix.
Oh my. Okay, I'm gonna go with the kids in puberty.
Are you serious?
Because at least I could communicate with them.
Do you realize how emotional this is gonna get?
But they're not gonna be there forever in leadership because they're gonna grow up. So it'll just be
governments of the world are only run by people go through puberty. Like as soon as they're done, as soon as they're done, they're left new kids go through puberty.
So it started out cute with him like, really? You'd rather have kids that are like 12 and 13 run our countries than have your phones? But each question that she did with him where she would answer, it got progressively like more argumentative. So now he's like, you would really pick your electronics? And her answer was like, yes, I would pick my electronics because I want to be able to call my family. Like my family lives all the way across the country and I would want to communicate with them.
Okay, this is a good one. Would you rather have don't look, you can't look ahead. You have to, you're going to prepare yourself. Would you rather have all...
Don't look ahead. Don't look ahead. Like grabbing her arm. I don't know. There's just something very off-putting about this. But then this is where it gets weird.
All dogs try to attack you when they see you. Or all birds try to attack you when they see you.
Birds.
Seriously?
Birds, yeah. Because I feel like dogs are just more vicious.
Yeah, but dogs are behind fences and stuff. Birds can do anything.
All dogs attack you when they see you, though.
Yeah,
they already do that.
Right, and they're behind that. So every bird's
there are fences, though.
Well,
I
just
think
every
if there were
dog.
no fences, then...
Well, yeah. I mean, that would be horrible.
I don't know.
Would you rather all dogs try to attack when they see you, or all birds try to attack?
Well, dogs are going to do that. So if they're allowed to be in cages, I thought you meant just like...
Well, maybe they're not. Maybe they are.
Because I'd rather be attacked by a bird than a dog.
Anyway, bird though.
Wouldn't you?
I don't know, because birds can come from anywhere. I have my plan. If dogs, because
You told me.
So, like, you would do that? You would really? Birds versus dogs? Now, if all things are equal, I actually agree with her on this because, to be honest, if all dogs were going to go after you, they're bigger than birds. Birds can come at you from any directions, but dogs can be a lot more vicious. So I'm with Jinger on this. But he's just like, really? Really, Jinger? Like, making her second guess everything? Next question is...
Would you rather your partner looked weak, but was actually really strong? Or looked strong, but was actually really weak?
Oh, no.
Be careful what you consign me to here.
Be careful what you assign to me here. Be careful what you assign to me here. It's a game, Jeremy. It's a game. Like, look at her face. Like, and look at how serious he is. Like, be careful what you assign to me.
It's my fate, oh, no. Would you rather me be really jacked, but really actually weak, or just like scrawny?
I wouldn't mind it. I mean, because you're already, in shape. So as long as, I'd say look like it and maybe not be able to lift something, because you can always have someone else.
Are you serious?
Right? Because if you're just not able to move, then it's like, oh, I can lift anything. It's like, that's good too. You want to be strong, but what does weak mean? Because I'm just thinking like, you're not the strongest person in the world, but of course everyone can lift something.
We're talking about weak.
You mean like an infant?
No, yeah, like weak.
Because that would be disturbing.
I'm with you there.
You just made me an Instagram model. Who's like just total show.
No. Okay, because we have to define what these words mean. Because I'm thinking weak, like, oh.
So he's literally arguing with her about her choice.
Working out, but
no, like really weak. Like
if it's weak like an infant, then no.
Well, not an infant, but really weak is what it says. Really weak.
Okay.
That's a lose-lose for me. That one didn't go well for me.
And look at her face there. It's her choice, Jeremy. It's her choice. She can make the decision herself, Jeremy. That face that she made at the end was just like, I can't even. And he consistently was just like going over and over and over all the different things. Like, oh, you would pick birds or dogs, birds. Well, birds can come at you from any way. Weak or strong, weak or strong. Like, and the way that she looks at him, it's like she's questioning him and she's like, well, did I make the right choice? And for someone like Jinger, who doesn't really have like the best background in terms of like having parents that taught her that like she has a voice, a choice, and a brain, because she doesn't. And the IBLP women are basically like there to serve their husbands and have children and be in the kitchen. And if he's constantly like doubting and everything, questioning her, like how do you build up her self-confidence? There's a significant age difference between the two of them. I mean, listen, okay, not significant in the terms of like the grand scheme. He's 32 and she's 26. But I would say, like, from a maturity standpoint, she's not like a 26-year-old because she's been kept in this bubble that is the Duggars. So he's been out in the real world for a very long time. He went to college, he played professional soccer, he went to public school, he went to public college. And he is so much more worldly than her. And so she's probably looking to him constantly for affirmation or for confirmation of how she's feeling. And I just wonder sometimes like how much of that sort of bleeds over. And I don't know, I get the sense that he's kind of an egomaniac and he really thinks very highly of himself. And these again are my opinions, but I wasn't alone in my thoughts because other people noticed it too. Jeremy, can you just accept Ginger's answers without having to question it? Jeremy had to argue with every one of her answers. You two are so beautiful. I would want to get attacked by birds instead of dogs. When's the next baby? Birds. Okay. This one is the one question though. Jeremy, I do feel like you question Ginger's answers a lot. I think from a husband, you should hold back on that more because it can tear a woman down. I know you probably aren't doing it on purpose, but just so maybe you can look back on this and see it for yourself. I love you guys as a couple. I always have. You see the love Ginger has for Jeremy. I also agree with birds, even though the movie Birds terrifies me. And then this person responds, exactly, which then makes Ginger doubt and question herself and feel like her answers are not good enough or correct. This will make her become insecure and wear her down over time. And that's what I was thinking. Like, if this is something that he's doing in a playful situation, and he's very competitive. I mean, he was a professional soccer player, but that was my thing is like, do you really argue this much? Like, are you doing this on purpose? Like, are you trying to be playful with her and get her to think and ask, be like, really, really? But some of them felt like he was more like trying to push her towards an answer that he would want. Like, I want to agree with what you would say. Like the question about strength, like being incredibly like looking a certain way, but then being weak, or then looking weak, but then being strong. It was like he wasn't happy when she said, well, I would rather you just look like yourself and then be weak. And to him, it's like, what is it, Jeremy? It isn't like either answer is kind of like in his egotistical, like pretty boy mind, I'm guessing, is that neither is good. But it's like even any choice she makes, he's automatically like, well, are you sure? Are you sure? It says really weak, really weak. Like I get the sense that Jeremy wants to be perceived not only as very strong, but also very good looking and very attractive. And it's evident in just how he carries himself and his photos on Instagram. And, he was an athlete. He obviously takes care of himself and takes care of his body. So I don't know. There was more of these types of answers also on Reddit. People were just like, why is he arguing with her so much? Why is he like, it's like an indirect put down when you are playing a game with someone and then you question why they would even say something. And I just feel like Ginger, like I said, didn't grow up in a world where she had a choice or a voice. And if she already lacks self-confidence, that kind of behavior concerns me. So this also is what concerns fans, is that maybe there is an unhealthy dynamic here and that maybe Jeremy isn't as great as he seems. I'm not a fan of Jeremy, obviously, for his beliefs on so many different topics. I find him completely I just don't, I'm not a fan. But I do like Ginger, and I want obviously the best for all of these girls. And I just hope that if this is a pattern, that he has the wherewithal to actually be like, I shouldn't be doing this as a husband. I should be supporting her. And I don't know. What are your thoughts? Is it no big deal, or do you think there could be an unhealthy dynamic here as well? Let me know in the comments below. Bye, guys.